Dixie here. Today I want to talk to you about a list that I have created that might be helpful to you this holiday season. I did a video like this in between my AT and PCT through hikes, but I wanted to go ahead and update it because I've come up with some more ideas. Basically, it's a list of backpacking items that are $50 or less that I feel like in general, most backpackers would appreciate receiving as a gift. The reason that I didn't go beyond the $50 range is because usually when you exceed that, you start getting into some items that are pretty personal, like packs. You know, those are things that should be fitted to the hiker and feel right, or shelter systems, or sleeping bags. You know, those are all things that are pretty personal and you know, can be extremely heavy or lightweight and should really be at the discretion of the hiker to choose. So the items I'm going to cover today are, for the most part, gifts that I think any hiker would probably appreciate, and if it's something that they haven't tried yet, they'd probably be willing to. I figured this video might help you find a gift for that backpacker in your life, and if you are a backpacker and you never know what to tell your family to get you, maybe this will help you, because everyone knows that around Christmas time, you know, if you tell somebody, hey, I'm planning to start section hiking the AT next year or through hiking, then grandma gets you that JanSport backpack, you know, to help you carry all your stuff all the way to Katahdin, and you're like, oh, you know, JanSport might not really be the pack I intended to tote, but thanks, Grandma, you know. So this maybe will hopefully help eliminate some of that. Not that you wouldn't be grateful for the JanSport though. Now with this video, so that y'all don't have to worry about writing down all these items, I've done a blog post to match up with it. It'll have all the items listed and links to them. You can check that out at homemadewanderlust.com, but if you want the direct link, then just go to the show more, the details below this video, and I'll have the link to that direct blog post. The first item on the list today is food, because every backpacker pretty much talks about food more than anything else. There are all sorts of these pre-packaged meals. This Harmony House stuff is great to add to like ramen noodles or mashed potatoes, just to give them a little extra oomph and some more calories. There are also Mountain House meals, Backpackers Pantries, paleo meals to go. There are all sorts of meals like that. The reason backpackers love them so much is because they're usually a lot fancier of a meal than what you're gonna come up with, you know, on your own from the grocery store. A lot of times they'll have meat in them and just things that you might not normally pack out with you on trail. Also, a lot of times you're pouring boiling water into them, so there's not much to clean up. You don't have to wash a pot. Also, they can be a little expensive for like a through hiking budget, so you know, I only get them in towns like once in a blue moon when I want to spoil myself. So it's really nice to receive them as a gift because it's something that a lot of people might not necessarily get for themselves. The second item, which is kind of related to food, is a stove. So this is an MSR Pocket Rocket. They run about $40 to $50, but there is this other stove that I think I'm going to try for the CDT. It's called a BRS. I was a little leery of them because they're really cheap, under $20, and like less than an ounce, but I was just like, surely they can't be quality when it's, you know, that cheap and that lightweight. But Perk used one on the PCT, and other than they might not be as efficient as like an MSR Pocket Rocket or another backpacking stove, he really didn't have any complaints. But you can find good backpacking stoves for $50 or less. Next on the list is backup battery chargers. This is the 20,100 milliamp hour Anchor charger. This is the 10,000 milliamp hour Anchor charger. Both of them are great. I love the Anchor brand. It's probably the most popular charger I've seen on trail, and it's because it's a good charger. This one lasted me about 3 days, this one about 5 days, and that's just charging my phone. But I use my phone to take pictures, I use my phone to video, you know, for all of the vlogs and things like that, so I use my phone a lot. So these are great and almost a necessity for anybody who's going to be using their phone to take pictures or to video while they're on trail. Next on the list is rain gear. So rain gear can be kind of pricey, but Frog Talks makes an ultra light 2 suit that's like 10 to 11 ounces depending, you know, on the size that you wear. But that's for the raincoat and the pants, and I think they're like $25. So that's not a bad deal for, you know, the lightweight material that you're getting in a Frog Talk suit. Now I will say that the Frog Talk suit is not durable, so if you're gonna be like bushwhacking and all that, it might not be the best selection. But for the most of your long distance trails like the AT, the PCT, you know, the long trail in Vermont, or most well-known trails are going to be pretty well maintained, so you're not going to have to worry about bushwhacking and creating your own path. I used Frog Togs on the AT, Perk used them on the AT and the PCT, and you know, he still likes them. Now if you're looking for some rain gear that might be a little bit more durable, Anti-Gravity Gear has some rain pants that I used on the PCT and I love them. I needed them for when I was glissading, and of course, you know, when it rained, or as just an extra layer of warmth, or if it was a really windy day. So the Anti-Gravity Gear rain pants are about 3 to 4 ounces depending on what size you wear, and they're about $50. Next on my list is socks. Darn Tough socks are absolutely wonderful, and they have a lifetime guarantee. So you pay like $20 for a pair of these and you can keep having them replaced if they ever get a hole in them. I mean, Darn Tough basically dares you to wear them out. They don't just have this length, you know, they've got like the regular crew and the no-show and all of that. But basically any wool socks would be appreciated by through hikers or section hikers. So smart wools, even Injinji socks. So if your hiker gets blisters a lot, Injinji socks do help with that because they're like little gloves on your toes, so they keep your toes from rubbing together and creating blisters. And let's be honest, you can never have too many pairs of socks if you like to hike. Next on the list is water treatment. The Sawyer Squeeze is a pretty well-known filter. It's not very heavy, it's versatile, it can go from a gravity system, the Sawyer Mini can be used on an inline system, or you can just screw a smart water bottle onto this and drink through it. I mean, it really is a good filter. Run you about $40 to $50 or so, but would probably be appreciated as a gift. And there are chemical options too, like Aquamira. Some people use that, but I just prefer the filter. Next is a bandana or a buff. Bandanas can be used for many different things. There are all sorts of uses. You can even look up like 100 uses for a bandana and it's really impressive. So if your person is not using a water filter to filter their water, and they're using like chemical treatments, they can run their water through a bandana to get that sediment out. Also, it can be used, you know, to keep your hair out your face, tie it around your head. It can be used around your face for dustiness in like the desert. Just all sorts of things that you can use a bandana for. I carry one strictly for my food pot, so when I rinse out my food pot, I can dry it out, or while I'm cooking, it's like a hot pad. But again, a million uses for it. Also, something that can help with your hair that people wear a lot on the trail is a buff. So a buff is also versatile, not so much maybe something I would use while I'm cooking, but to cover up your hair or your face or your neck or anything like that, extra warmth, you know, it's just a versatile piece of clothing. And another thing that I love about bandanas and buffs is you can get one that kind of matches the personality of the person that you're buying the gift for. So even though it's not something very expensive, you know, it can be personalized towards them. Next is headlamp. So I don't know a backpacker that does not use a headlamp. The main thing you want to watch for when you're picking a headlamp for somebody is make sure it has the red beam option, because that bright white light can be blinding if you're sharing a shelter with people and you're trying to read, or maybe you just don't want that much brightness, you know, in your tent at night. Also, I've noticed it seems that bugs aren't quite, you know, as annoying when I'm using the red beam as the white beam, so definitely something that I look for in a headlamp. This is a black diamond headlamp. I don't remember exactly which one it is, maybe the Storm something other, but they make much more lightweight headlamps than this. As long as it's, you know, relatively bright and it has the red light option, then I think you're good to go. And anyway, who doesn't need an extra headlamp laying around the house? Next up is some kind of device to listen to music. So you could get them a nice set of earbuds or like a Bluetooth speaker, something lightweight that they can hook onto their pack and listen to music with their friends, or a podcast or something like that. I personally don't know any through hikers that listened to zero music while they were hiking. And I probably went through about 4 sets of earbuds while I was on my PCT through hike, so an extra set is always appreciated. If you are gonna get a Bluetooth speaker, I would recommend getting one that is lightweight, gets pretty loud, has a decent battery life, and is preferably either water resistant or waterproof. Next is an eating utensil. So I have had this titanium spork since I started the AT. I will never part with it. I like it because it has a bottle opener and I don't know, I just get attached to things like this. But I have noticed more and more people using titanium spoons, and they get like the long handle spoon so it can really get down inside their food pot, or if they're eating a Mountain House meal, you know, in one of the packages. With this, you know, I kind of have to get my hand dirty digging down in there. With that long handled spoon, they're able to get down in there. And they say, who really uses the points on a spork anyway? Well, I reckon, but I just like mine. Next is micro spikes. So I learned on the PCT that these can be very, very useful when you're hit with snow and ice. These are nice for, you know, through hikers, section hikers, or even day hikers, because, I mean, you want something that'll give you traction if it is cold outside and you decide, I've got to get out of the house, I'm going stir crazy, you know, in the middle of winter. And these will do it. These got me through the Sierra Nevada with no issues. Some brands might run you a little more than $50, like $50 to $60, but I got these off-brand micro spikes in one of the trail towns for like $30 to $40. Another piece of gear I fell in love with on the PCT was my Reflectix Umbrella. In the desert, it was priceless. People would, you know, have to keep hiking to look for shade, and I could just create shade whenever I wanted to by sitting down and just kind of, you know, balling up under that umbrella. I also noticed that because I was hiking and had, you know, umbrella to hide under, I could hike in my sports bra without getting just burned to a crisp. And it helped keep me cool because I was still able to have breeze on me and be under shade while I was walking. And honestly, it helped me not have to carry quite as much water because I wasn't drinking as much due to having some shade over me. I've also heard that they're really good to have while it's raining, you know, just a morale booster that you're like kind of, your face and your head and all is like out of the rain. You kind of have a shelter over you. I didn't get to use mine up in the Pacific Northwest because I had sent it home for this Sierra Nevada, but I have heard good things about them in those conditions. Mine weighed about 8 ounces and ran about $40 to $50. Next on the list is a food bag. So any stuff sack that's about 15 liters or more would probably be good to use as a food bag. It's just literally a bag that you keep your food in, and at night you can hang it up to where the bears can't get it. This one is actually, I think, 14 liters, and it's made by Z-Packs. But on the AT, I used one that was 15 liters from another company, and it was, you know, just fine. Sea to Summit makes pretty good stuff sacks, and stuff sacks can also be used to keep your electronics in, like the really, really tiny ones. I usually use a Ziploc bag, but some people really love to segregate their things in little stuff sacks. Next on the list is Gators. So I'm talking about the thin little piece of material that goes over your ankle and connects to the top of your shoe that helps keep like dust and debris, sticks, rocks, all that stuff out of your shoes, so you're not having to stop and dump them out all the time to prevent from getting blisters. They're real lightweight and relatively cheap. I think Outdoor Research has some Gators for about $20. Outdoor Research Gators are a little more plain in color, but then they have these Dirty Girl Gators that can really spice up your hiking get-up because they've got different patterns and bright colors and things like that. And next is the Deuce of Spades lightweight trowel. So this is the lightest trowel I know of on the market. You won't even notice that it's on your pack. You can hook it on your pack, have it easy to access, and sure, you can use a trekking pole or a rock or a stick to help dig a hole, but a trowel really helps. And because this one's so lightweight, it's kind of like, why not? So if you want to make the bathroom duty deal a little bit easier and less of a pain in the rear on your hiker, then the Deuce of Spades is a good gift. Next on the list is gift cards. And I know what y'all are thinking, gift cards aren't very personal, but if you're giving them to a through hiker who's gonna be stopping into different towns that have chain restaurants and grocery stores, it's not a bad idea, you know, to help them resupply while they're out there and to get some food while they're in town. And also you can give a backpacker a gift card to REI or another outdoor store to help them purchase gear that they're going to use for their hikes. Also, you can get gift cards for like iTunes or Audible to give your hiker something to listen to while they're on the trail, like music or audiobooks. And last on the list is my ebook, which is Take a Through Hike. And it's basically all of the information that I gathered while I was researching for my AT through hike. So if you know somebody that's wanting to section hike or through hike the AT, I think that they'll really find it useful, you know, so they know information about gear that you need or resupplying, finances, and, you know, all of those things that I was worried about before I started. Well, I hope that this list was helpful to get the ball rolling on some ideas for things that you could get your backpacking loved ones. If y'all have any other ideas that you know would make good gifts for backpackers that are $50 or less, please feel free to comment below. This would be a great place to have an ongoing list of, you know, gift ideas ideas for folks who like to get outside and enjoy nature. And remember, while you're shopping this holiday season, if you like the work I do here and you want to support me at no additional cost to you, just visit DixieAZ.com before doing your shopping on Amazon. It'll give you a redirect link to Amazon to shop through my affiliate link, and it won't cost you anything extra, and you'll do your Amazon shopping just as you normally would. And that's all I've got for now. We'll see y'all next time.